Hi class. Well, welcome to my home office. It's Professor Wernicke and we are going to talk about chapter 4 today. So, the only parts of chapter 4 we are going to cover are activity-based costing, which also includes departmental costing. We are not covering lean operations or the costs of quality. We are not covering that in this course. Okay, so activity-based costing is a method to allocate costs in a more precise manner than we did last chapter when we did job order costing. So if you remember, in job order costing, we were concerned with allocating one cost, overhead. We already know how much a job will cost in terms of materials and labor, but we need to calculate overhead for every job that we do. So, when we used a plant-wide rate, that was one cost for the jobs. This chapter, we will consider two possibilities. One, and the one I will go over right now, which is using departmental rates versus a plant-wide rate. Versus plant-wide. Okay, so let's take a look at problem number 19. It's on page 221. So problem 19 is about a furniture manufacturer, and it's Sanderson Fine Furnishings, and they produce custom fine furniture. So we know from the problem that they expect their total overhead to be $1 million for the year. And remember, this is the beginning of the year, the budget, that's what they expect. And they also expect that they will have 20,000 hours of direct labor. So, if they use direct labor to allocate their overhead, it would be $50 an hour. And by the way, this is exactly what we did last chapter. Okay, now, this same company actually has two separate departments. They have a machining department, and they expect that they are going to spend, let's see, how much is it? $660,000 in overhead for the machining department. And they have a finishing department, so for their furniture. And in the finishing department, they expect they're going to spend $340,000 in overhead, which, by the way, is the $1 million. We're just now splitting it up. So, they tell us in the problem that for the machining department, they expect to run machines for 15,000 hours. Now, these are machine hours. And they tell us that they expect to have 17,000 direct labor hours in the finishing department. Now, notice that 17,000 is different than the 20,000. Why? Well, probably because the other 3,000 hours are happening in the machining department. Okay, so if we use a departmental rate, we would then divide the $660,000 of overhead by 15,000 machine hours, and that will give us, what will it give us? $44 an hour, a machine hour. And if we divide 340,000 in the finishing department by 17,000 hours, that will give us $20 an hour. Okay, so we have two different ways to look at this. We've got a plant-wide rate of $50 an hour, or we have two departmental rates. machining based on machine hours, finishing based on direct labor hours. So now we have two different rates. So we are asked in this problem to calculate the cost of two different jobs, job 450 and job 455. So job 450 and job 455 both require 5 hours of direct labor. Now we don't know if that's labor in the machining department or finishing department, but it doesn't matter, because if we were going to do a plant-wide rate, we would simply say 5 times $50 an hour, $250. That would be the cost of those two jobs. Same cost. Now, what if we actually costed these two jobs based on departmental hours? And where is that eraser? Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to erase our $50. By the way, the folks are very kind to lend me a whiteboard because I don't normally have that in my house. Okay, so we've got $250 for both jobs. Now, if we look at these two jobs using departmental rates, so we have for job 450, we have that we expect 3 machine hours, so 3 times 44 would give us $132. And 4 direct labor hours in the finishing department, that will give us $80. So that the cost of this job would be $212. Meanwhile, job 455, they expect that that will require 4 machine hours, not 3. So that would be $176, 4 times 44, plus 3 direct labor hours here, so 3 times 20, 60. 6, 13, 2. Okay, so the point is this. If we use departmental rates to cost these two jobs, we have this job, 450, costing $212. But if we had used a plant-wide rate, we would have costed it at $250. And for job 455, we see now it should cost $236, but again, we costed it at $250. So, well, why do we care? Well, we care because these jobs require bids. So if this company has overcosted these and they want a 25% markup and they use this, their price will be way above what it really should be, and they probably won't get the job. And so this is the point of this comparison of departmental rates to a plant-wide rate. And in my next video, I will then continue this and add activity-based rates when I see you next time. Have a great day.